Oh, great. Sarah Kustok. I'm Lisa Byington. We have a full complement of sideline reporters. Kim Adams on one side, John Fanta on the other. So we start with the #1 seed, UConn, Sarah, and they clearly have been the team to beat, and they look even more like the team to beat in the postseason because they're a little bit healthier.
Yeah, a little bit healthier, full complement of players, and of course that includes Paige Bueckers. UConn is a different team when Paige Bueckers is playing. Came into this one as a game time decision. This will be just her 5th game back. She will come off the bench. You can see the minutes restriction. The point differentiation is something that should be less of a focus. More of it is just about how she physically feels. Let's not forget this is her 3rd game in 3 days. But yeah, you better believe this team is stacked, and it starts with Kristen Williams, who has set the tone early for UConn in the tournament coming out of the gate. Look at those numbers, 21 total points in the first quarters in this tournament, and it has not just been about putting the ball in the bucket, but doing so with such a high level of efficiency. Kristen Williams has been the engine that has made this team go.
Well, this matchup is enticing for several reasons. I mean, but #1, we have the best team in the regular season in UConn now taking on the best player in the regular season, and Maddie Siegrist of Villanova. She's been fantastic so far in the tournament.
It's been a joy to watch Maddie Siegrist, and she just continues to improve. She's got a steady demeanor and composure about her, and when it comes to how she can score, it's about picking apart a defense in all different ways. She can run the floor, find early offense, space you out with her sniper range from 3, and also just put it on the deck, back to the basket. The manner in which she's able to score in so many different ways is what makes her such a threat, and you better believe Villanova's going to need her tonight if they walk away with a chip.
This is the second meeting of the season between UConn and Villanova, a rematch of the earlier meeting when Nova shocked the Huskies earlier. Now it's a chance at the tournament title. These two teams are ready, and the trophy awaits. Mohegan Sun is the site, and look at this atmosphere. It is fantastic in Uncasville, Connecticut. #1 against #2 tonight in the Big East Tournament Championship. 4 days down to 2 teams, and it's down to this. Time for the starting lineup, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Villanova's Brianna Herlihy is averaging a double-double in the tournament. Freshman Lucy Olsen has been fantastic. For UConn, it's the same starters Saturday and Sunday. And for more for the Paige Bueckers story, we go over to Kim Adams on the sideline.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, Paige Bueckers has been back for 4 games now after missing nearly 2.5 months after knee surgery. This afternoon, Gino Auriemma told us she would be a game-time decision for tonight's game. Paige did not participate in shoot-around this afternoon with knee soreness, but we have been told she is available. Paige went through a normal warm-up, rode the bike, and it is likely that we will see Paige coming off the bench tonight. And now for more on the Villanova Wildcats, I'll send it over to John Fanta.
Thanks, Kim. Well, while Paige Bueckers was the known superstar out of high school, the opposite can be said for Villanova star Maddie Siegrist, the Big East Player of the Year. She was recruited by low and mid-major schools until the last one came calling, and that was Villanova. The moment she stepped on their campus, she fell in love with it, and she said that when she arrived, she hoped she'd just be good enough to play for the Wildcats. Tonight, she leads them into a championship game.
And we're off and running. At Mohegan Sun, it is Villanova against UConn in a rematch. These two teams haven't faced each other since February 9th. This is the Big East Women's Tournament Final. Second year that this tournament has been held at this venue, but the first year that we've had fans in this venue, and boy, does it make a difference. A live atmosphere here tonight. Herlihy was taking a peek at a back-cutting Siegrist. Now we got 7 on the shot clock. Here's the sophomore Garzone who gives it back to Herlihy. That's a 15-footer, won't fall. Nika Mule, the Big East Defensive Player of the Year, trying to feed it inside to Nelson Adota.
Tough play by Siegrist. And you see how she's able to really work Nelson Adota early on.
Couple of turnovers here to start for UConn. And down on the deck, we got a jump ball already. Denise Dillon, the Big East Coach of the Year in year number 2. She addressed with us in the shoot-around today. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that you got a rematch here with UConn? Remember, Villanova upset them on February 9th. She said it gave us confidence. It also gave us awareness of what we might face this evening.
Well, and I don't know if you could fully prepare for the atmosphere, the pressure, everything that's involved in a Big East championship game, unless you're Gino Auriemma, who has experienced a lot of times before, including with this group of girls.
Gino Auriemma has talked about the hot start. He said, we have to beat Nova to the jump this time around on that February 9th meeting. Nova jumped out to a 12-2 lead, led by as many as 19 at one point. There's a putback for Aaliyah Edwards.
Well, when Villanova has a lead early, it changes the style and the tempo of how they can play, and that's what UConn wants to dictate. We know how important the glass is against a UConn team, and already there, the putback by Aaliyah Edwards, that's something that's got to be a major point of emphasis for Villanova to take care of.
Villanova out-rebounded UConn in that February 9th meeting by 16. Now 6 to shoot here for the Wildcats. Step through move for Garzon is not there. Segrist has yet to get a touch here. Izzy Fudd, #1 nationally ranked recruit, a freshman here for UConn. A block from behind from Hurley, and it's a traveling violation, another turnover here for the Huskies.
Tough defense by Hurley. And Edwards is working on the inside and did a really nice job in the seal, but look at this. Coming from behind, all of a sudden, she's got tracking, timing, tough position underneath the basket.
3 turnovers already here for UConn in the first few possessions to open this one up.
And we're seeing Aaliyah Edwards starting out on Maddie Segrist. Will be interesting to watch the different players, different coverages they throw at the Big East Player of the Year.
Well, UConn was shorthanded in that meeting back on February 9th. There was no Paige Beckers. There was no Olivia Nelson-Adota. There was no Caroline Ducharme in that game as well. So 3 key players who they now have back in this meeting. There's the handoff to Fudd. That's a long 2, and it's a 4-0 advantage.
And great to see that go through early for AZ Fudd. She is a knockdown shooter. You can see it in the way that she has her form and her set, the quickness of the shot, but she's been struggling a little bit with her efficiency during this tournament.
Oh, and we got a 10-second violation. Joe Vasili, Mai Forsberg, Paulani, Spurlock, Welsh. Those are your officials for Championship Monday here in the Big East. A total of 6 combined turnovers in the first 3 minutes, probably dealing with a little bit of maybe some championship nerves on this Monday night.
I can imagine. A lot of them, the dead ball turnovers.
Back to a look there for Fudd, and she's got the last 4 points here for UConn.
We see this all season long, how the offense is run through and initiated with Olivia Nelson-Adota up there at the top, and she'll catch her teammate in stride.
Baseline look that time. Out there for Brooke Mullen, one of the defensive specialists that Nova has used here this year. There's a first clean look for Kristen Wood. You think she's fired up in her last Big East tournament game? Take a look at that.
UConn cooking early, and they're doing it from all areas on the floor. AZ Fudd showing off a little 1 dribble jump shot from the mid-range, and this time back cut dime from Nelson-Adota. Here she is, the senior buckets.
It's a 9-0 start here for UConn, and that has been the trend in the first 2 tournament games for the Huskies.
Well, and take a look at just how they've started fast. So much of it, too, has been predicated on their defensive stops, and we've seen this early. 6 points off turnovers already for UConn, and it is just the aggressiveness and their ability to be able to get in passing lanes, and everyone working on a string. This comes from guarding your individual matchups, and those that are help side and next away have been able to take advantage. The blocking ability, the length, the quickness, and basketball IQ, and that's a big part of it. For as much as you want to talk about the skill set and the schemes of UConn, it too comes from just an understanding of positionally where to be.
Gino has asked for a fast start, and so far his team has responded. Herlihy, a much-needed bucket coming out of that timeout here for Villanova. It's the first basket here for the Wildcats tonight.
Oh, we got a chance to talk with her after shoot-around, and she was excited. She said, 6 years here, this is my first opportunity to play in a Big East championship game. Looks calm here to start.
They started out 0 for 4, so certainly they have to make some adjustments. What'd you hear, John Fanta, in the huddle?
The press break was what was stressed. Denise Dillon looked at Brianna Herlihy and Maddie Segrist and said, you have to come up and help our guards out or else they're going to press. And the other theme of it was communication defensively. You just see that easy basket. Denise Dillon said, if we stop communicating, Connecticut is the best at capitalizing.
Those offensive sets, though, John, what we just saw, again, Nelson Adota up at the top. What they do is keep everyone else spread around the perimeter and up high. There's no backside help. And because of that, the cutters are able to roam free. And you got to worry about the denial because they could shoot. But those passes come in stride. And before you even see it, there's another opportunity. And give credit to Nelson Adota.
It was a mismatch, too. Edwards read it, UConn read it. Lucy Olson, standing at 5'9", was the post defender there for Villanova. Maddie Segrist, this is a touch for her, and that's her first shot. Wow, from distance.
I felt like we could reach out and touch her. My goodness. That was a deep look and an important shot. And for Villanova, just to make sure that they keep this deficit at bay here early on, continue to chip away, despite how well UConn has been moving and playing on this offensive side.
They were looking for the back door. That's when you got to have eyes in the back of your head defensively against UConn.
Excellent adjustment on that possession, but here you go again, Nelson Adota. And look at the pinpoint play, and you had pointed that out. Lucy Olson just in a tough position playing there at front. Segrist, I mean, Aaliyah Edwards' hands are down. There was plenty of room, but you kind of can't blame her given how far Segrist was out. That was a tough shot.
Talk about a logo three-point shot. And she's a player, Maddie Segrist, who averages high percentages. Not bad for her first touch and first shot here of this game. Olsen fakes the pass, trying to take it inside. The little runner, it's nothing but pure. Now Villanova's got a little bit of something going.
Tough move. And we've seen a tremendous amount of confidence from Lucy Olson. To think about the fact she's doing the things she has been at this stage as a freshman, though she's been doing it all year long.
Leaning inside, a little bit too much of a push, and an offensive foul on Olivia Nelson Odota that got the entire Villanova bench off of the bench.
I almost want us just to look at the replay of the bench. I mean, nice play getting in front, and everyone is live. The energy is lit here in this building.
5 turnovers now for UConn to begin with just here in this first quarter. UConn team that averages 14 turnovers per game. They've got 5 already. 3.5 to play here in the first. Herlihy in trouble. Nicely done by the UConn defense. Out and moving. Here comes Williams. That crossover. Shot it right into Bella Runyon, who's coming off the bench. Garzone, they leave her open. And Garzone had 19 points in the first meeting against UConn and had 5 3-point makes. Can't put it down that time. Edwards, that's a 3-point attempt there for Williams. And Fudd with a second opportunity. Thought they might get the Mohegan Sun bounce on that one. Huskies jumped out to a 9-0 start, but slowly but surely, Nova chipping away at this lead. Garzone, the pump fake. She was asking for a foul call, not going to get the foul call.
But she had two players on that collapsed off of that ball screen. And for Denise Dillon's group, it's all about taking quality shots. And you want to make sure you're not rushing things. But UConn will do a really good job of, on the defensive end, is speeding you up. And so you think you have a sliver of airspace, and they're there, especially with the size and the length that they bring to the table.
A 13-8 advantage on the scoreboard, and we've been keeping our eye on the rebounding edge. UConn winning that one 9-2 here so far. Last offensive possession, they got an offensive rebound. Couldn't turn it into second chance points on that possession, though. Here's Dorka Juhas, the Ohio State transfer, who goes baseline and draws the foul. That'll be the first on Maddie Segrist. Dorka Juhas deciding to transfer, says she absolutely loves it here at UConn. Is an all Big Ten first team honoree, but has yet to play in the postseason. She'll get a chance to do that in the NCAA tournament for the first time in her career.
And for as much as we've talked about with UConn, how many players they had been missing, the injuries, so many different starting lineups and pieces, the positive way to look at it, if you're the Huskies, is a lot of players have had the opportunity to gain a tremendous amount of experience that they may not have had throughout the course of the season. You hope that pays dividends later.
Caitlin Oriole, who's into the game here for Nova, a straightaway shot there for Segrist, and it's an air ball, and you better believe this crowd's going to let her hear that.
Yeah, so UConn goes to a zone off that possession. And they'll show different looks. That's something that they do. We talked with Gino Auriemma earlier today after shoot-around. He said, you kind of make decisions with Villanova. Do you give up the threes? Do you give up layups? And what are you picking and choosing with how they score? Because it always seems like they find those ways to score. So how will the zone impact what Villanova does offensively, especially with their tutting?
One thing he was certain of, you can't give up both. Layups or three-pointers to Nova. Step through move, there's a freshman, Ducharme, following her own miss, and another opportunity, another offensive rebound here for UConn. They get 5 here in the game, and that time it results in some second chance points as Avina Westbrook knocks down the jumper.
And when it comes to UConn, can't give up second chance points, can't give up points off turnovers. They are good enough on their own on the offensive side, in the half court, in the open court. Those gimme type of points are something that they will capitalize on.
Inside a minute to play here in this first quarter. 9-point edge here for the #1 seed in the tournament. Mullen goes high off the glass for her first 2.
Tough thing by Mullen, who doesn't necessarily take a high volume of shots, and she's someone who lets the offense come to her, but that was an important part of getting into the teeth of the defense and trying to bust up the zone.
Backdoor look, Westbrook walked with it that time. Now, UConn has the lead, but they just have not been taking care of the basketball. 7 turnovers here in the quarter.
Well, and think about the fact they started this off 9-0. So Villanova has done a very nice job in coming back and maintaining a level of composure here as they're operating on the offensive end with a lot of effectiveness in how they're starting to take care of the basketball and use their cutting actions.
About a 6-second differential between game and shot clock. And Edwards coming over, and she gets whistled for the foul. Trying to help there on the double team. She picks up her first. "15 seconds to play in the quarter." What do you think? Segrist gets a look?
I would put the ball in her hands without a doubt. They've done a nice job, though, of not giving her a lot of touches.
And that's the length there of Dorka Juhas defending there the inbounds. And so they're going to switch it up a little bit. And they wanted to put AZ Fudd, a smaller defender, on her, but Dorka Juhas says, I'm not going to switch it up. I'm still going to be defending the out of bounds. Now 12 to play here in the quarter. Here's Mullen. And they're going to give the touch to Segrist. She just needs a sliver of space, and she's off the left side. This crowd's going to be tough to her tonight.
Well, it doesn't go, but that was a really nice play and a good setup for that look.
Westbrook pulls up, trying to beat the buzzer, launches it, not there. She got a good look at it, though. This is a rematch. It's been so far an entertaining one here in the first quarter. You've got UConn looking to go back-to-back in Big East tournament titles. You've got Villanova. These players haven't been in the championship game before. We've got number 1 versus number 2 in the Big East, and quarter number 2 to come. February 9th was a game to remember for Villanova fans, one to forget here for UConn. At the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut. It was Villanova upsetting UConn. A home game here for the Huskies. The score 72-69, and it snapped an unbelievable conference winning streak. How much? Well, 169 with the total when you combine regular season conference wins with tournament conference wins. Denise Dillon defeated UConn now as a player and a coach, and the first win against a UConn team in conference play since 1993. But since that loss, this is how UConn has recovered. Not too shabby.
Yeah, average margin of victory throughout the course of that 9-game winning streak, 38 points per game. They've not just been winning, they have been dominating. We give credit to Villanova here early on. We see, though, Paige Beckers makes her entrance into this one. Look at the numbers in the 2 games of the Big East tournament, averaging a little over 18 minutes per game. She's on a minutes restriction. Continue to watch just her movements and the fluidity of it, the confidence she continues to try to find in her body as she's returning from that injury.
Again, she injured her knee in the Notre Dame game, and this is her 5th game back. She had to have surgery on that left knee back on December 13th. Those 18 minutes that you saw, she's played 18 minutes in both tournament games. Those are the most that she's played since her return.
And let's not overlook how tough it is, 3 games in 3 days.
They were uncertain. We heard Kim Adams' report. They were uncertain. We watched her at UConn shoot-around here today. We didn't even know if she'd be able to play. Gino, we asked him after shoot-around. He wasn't even sure if she'd be ready to go. Be careful. And her recovery back. There's a good post up from Edwards. And we got a jump ball. It'll head Villanova's way.
Yeah, Villanova has done a really nice job after the early part of the game and how they've collapsed on the inside. And a lot of that has just come with the help. They've had a couple mismatches where you'd think UConn would be able to exploit with their size, but it's the second man coming through who's done a nice job getting their hands on the ball.
Much tighter game here for UConn in this game in the tournament than what they started. No score yet here in the second quarter. But UConn had identical scores, 22-6 at the end of the first quarter in both of their tournament games here so far. There's another look for Mullen. The obligatory mention of the niece of, you guessed it, Chris Mullen. She shoots a right-handed shot there. And a miscommunication that time between Edwards and Ducharme. 9th turnover here for UConn. Drive that man nuts. Let's check in with John Fanta.
Well, Brooke Mullen has her uncle's shooting stroke, but she also has another part of her repertoire, Lisa and Sarah, the ability to coach and defend. And what she was able to do in the huddle for Villanova, she commanded it. She looked at her 4 teammates and she said, we have to talk every time down defensively. If we defend, the buckets will come.
Well, one of the upperclassmen here on this roster, we mentioned that she's been leaned on a little bit as their defensive specialist, if you will, sometimes here this year. And right now trying to D up Paige Beckers, who's working on initiating this offense here for UConn. Juhas eyeing her options. Quick hands that time. Flood's in trouble. 6 seconds now to shoot. Here's Beckers. Let's see if she can go to work. Pulls up from about 15 feet. Her first shot is short. And a kick ball. I'll take it out from the sideline.
And for Paige Beckers, you can't overstate just how much you think about the physical part of coming back from an injury, but the mental, the emotional part of it, how much she has just put effort and work into getting herself back here on the floor and the ups and downs of it. And for a player of her elite caliber, the things you're used to doing, the moves you're used to making, and not necessarily being able to be at that point, is all a part of the process in the return, and it is not an easy thing.
Berlahi dropping it off there to the freshman. It rims out that time for Lucy Olsen. I love what Gino has talked about with Paige Becker's just attitude. Hey, I know you're going to be frustrated, but bring that positive attitude day in and day out. There's a look to Ducharme for her first points.
And Juhas putting the ball on the deck, making something happen, rotating the defense to be able to create that play.
We've seen these UConn bigs be able to pass the basketball. Olivia Nelson-Adota right up there with some of the best passing bigs. They shovel past that time, and Ducharme has a couple of quick buckets now. Point advantage, largest lead of the game. Villanova 0 for 5 so far this quarter. There's a second opportunity, make it 0 for 6.
And they've got a couple good looks. Some just are not going down. Not a lot of touches for Maddie Siegrist. UConn's done a good job in trying to eliminate some of her clean looks.
Becker's looking inside. There's Ducharme, who has the last 4 points here for UConn. Single digits again on the shot clock. Thud, roster footing. And it's Villanova basketball. They've got some numbers, a 2-on-1 look. Herlihy fakes the pass to Siegrist and takes it all the way in herself.
Talk about a nice finish. And you see the point by Herlihy into Siegrist, trying to figure out if she should get it off or take it herself, and does a good job in how she was able to close out that play in the 2-on-1 situation.
Dorothy Juhas finds a cutting AZ Thud. Juhas had 3 three-point makes in the semifinal, but they go again to Ducharme. How many layups has she gotten here in the second quarter?
And off that play, she just back cuts Garzon.
All 6 of her points in and around the basket. Herlihy lost it. She wants that possession back. We're going to take a timeout. 5 minutes even left in the second quarter.
And beautiful play there by Juhas, engaging the defense, finding Ducharme underneath the basket on the opposite block. And now it's just Ducharme going to work. She's been able to take advantage from some of these drop passes from her teammates once again this time, and UConn up 11.
Largest lead of the game here is plus 11. 5 minutes left to play in the second quarter. We go inside Villanova's huddle to listen to Denise Dillon.
But now you're getting lazy with the basketball. You don't get lazy with the ball. Value the possession each and every time. You can be as pissed as you want that you're missing a freaking shot, but you get a shot every possession, and then you bust your ass on the defensive end. Okay, enough. Now you're starting to feel sorry for yourselves. That's not an option. Non-negotiable. You continue to play.
And just listening to Denise Dillon, I mean, you could hear the competitiveness and toughness, but it is about attention to detail. That's both ends of the floor, and making sure you have a mindfulness with the basketball. It's not necessarily been a lot of points off turnovers recently for UConn, but the sharpness that you need to move, cut, and pass with is paramount against this Huskies team.
Some great sound that our crew got out of the huddle there. What was the word that Gino and, by the way, Denise Dillon used to describe her as a player? Competitive. Paige Beckers is on the board. On her second shot, her first bucket. An 8-2 run right now for UConn in this quarter. Herlihy takes it deep inside the lane. We play on, and it's another jump ball. It'll go UConn's way.
And Paige Beckers reading her defender, excellent step back. Those are the type of things that she'll just continue to reintegrate back into how we see her play, the fluidity of her motions. And more than anything, it's great to see her on the floor, but for her, she just, I imagine, wants to start feeling back to 100% or more, where she is comfortable and feeling confident with how she can move.
Tangled up a little bit trying to get through that screen. There's Nelson Adoda drawing the foul. You know, with Paige Beckers, and I kind of alluded to it earlier with Gino Auriemma talking to us after shoot-around. He said, I know you're going to be frustrated a lot, you know, but you have to be able to overcome physical frustration with mental and emotional frustration. And what I mean by that is your knee is not going to be consistent, but you have to be for us. If you're going to show up for us and want to play for us, we have to have the consistent leadership that we know Paige Beckers can provide.
And first of all, that is so important. And, you know, just to be mentally as locked in on the days you feel good as the days you don't. But think about that. These are the things you're asking of a sophomore. These are the things that you're asking of someone just in their second year. But how much they rely upon her leadership. And Gino says so often that they're a different team when she's on the floor. One, yes, it's about her actual play and performance, but she raises the level of play and the level of confidence of everyone around her.
Berlahi takes it again inside, but she leaves it short, but it'll still be Villanova basketball. Coming up on the Jeep halftime report, it'll be John Fanta and Kim Adams. They're working double duty for us, breaking down the first half of the game. Plus, we'll get you caught up in other college hoops championship games around the country. And of course, we have kept our eye on some of the championship finals as well. And the big upset with South Carolina, but you got to think that South Carolina has already done its work to develop a little bit of a cushion to perhaps still be the #1 overall seed. The question is, can UConn get to be as one of the 4 number 1s?
And there's a lot that you begin to look at with this team starting to get healthy, how they've playing as of late, the depth they bring to the table. That is the consideration for the selection committee to think about. They've won 15 of their last 16 games. The margins of victory they had, how they've been doing it, and you can only imagine as well these players continuing to get more integrated with one another, how they'll look at the postseason.
There's a good touch there for Segrist, and it ends an 8-0 run. Let's check in with Kim Adams.
Well, Lisa, we talked with Kristen Williams this morning, and I thought it was interesting. She said, Coach always tells us we have 3 seasons, the regular season, the postseason, and the NCAA tournament. We asked Gino, what does he want to see come together for his group in this game? And he said, going into the NCAAs, you want to mentally feel in the right place, feel good about yourself, playing with confidence, and getting ready for the postseason. So pretty efficient start for them so far. He has to be pretty pleased with that, I would say, Lisa.
Yeah, he was honest with the media in the post game after their semifinal win against Marquette. He said basically, I don't care what we are seeded. You earn your spot, you earn your place. You know, whether we get a #1 seed, whether we get a top 2 seed, and maybe can play in the Bridgeport Regional. He's confident that whatever will happen is something that they have earned. Now, it'll be interesting to see how much the NCAA selection committee does factor in the injury factor here for Connecticut. 10 different starting lineups, 8 of 12 players missed at least 2 games this year. It's all part of the UConn story this year. There's another look going off the glass for Segrist.
Segrist starting to loosen up the defense a little bit, in particular around the basket. Nice to see here as they're closing out the half. Can they make a little bit more of a push, possibly cut this to a single-digit deficit as you head into the locker room?
Crossover there for Williams. What a move.
I mean, not if Kristen Williams has something to say about it. She has been so tough. Her ability to finish through contact, find angles, use her strength. There's so much to be said about her quickness, acceleration, first step, in particular when she gets those straight line drives.
Segrist with another answer. UConn was looking to double up Villanova. And of course, the other side to the NCAA tournament story. You just saw a look at Segrist's dad, by the way, watching from afar. A coach who's probably biting his nails as a fan and a dad here tonight. But the other part of the NCAA tournament story to this game is Villanova right now with some projections being the outside looking in, and that's something that we'll get into in our conversation here throughout this game as we're inside a minute before halftime. Bella Runyon, they lost it. Villanova having trouble, especially in the second quarter, finding some offensive consistency and efficiency.
Well, and that circles back to what we heard out of the huddle from Denise Dillon. UConn has done a very good job not only with their ball pressure, but their denials on the wing. So a lot of those passes and their ability to get into their sets, get into their offense, the movements in their motion, have just not been available.
Williams with the freshman defending her. Williams crosses her over. On to battle for her own miss. Herlihy has taken a couple of tumbles here in this first half, and a foul is called. It'll be against Kristen Williams.
An example again, though, Olsen does a good job shadowing her under the baseline and the help coming over from Herlihy. Ooh, she landed hard on that elbow.
She's landed hard a couple of times in this first half. Shot clock not in play here on this possession for Nova. Fewest points in the first half for the Wildcats is 20. That season opener against Princeton. They're sitting at 18 here right now. Their zone. Looking to take Westbrook off the bounce, and it's a turnover, and the Big East Defensive Player of the Year just ran out of time. Mika Mule said, give me another second or two. Second quarter, a big quarter.
Yeah, and some nice stops there for UConn in particular, closing things out, but overall solid performance from both sides. You like the energy and intensity they've shown.
16-8 advantage in the second quarter as we check in with Kim Adams.
Thanks, Lisa. Coach, pretty efficient and balanced offense so far. What has allowed that to happen?
Well, I think we passed up a lot of opportunities there to get some buckets. But down here, I mean, to hold them to 18, I think our defense is just picked up where we left off. They're an impossible team to guard, as you can see, especially when Segrist gets the ball inside the lane. So we got to continue to spread the ball around over there and get more people involved. But I think we're doing a really good job so far, and it's going to be another 20 minutes of heartache.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. Lisa.
Yeah. Heartache now, and maybe a championship by the time this night is done. 33-18 is your halftime score here at Mohegan. 18 is your halftime score here at Mohegan Sun. After the break, we'll send it back to John Fanta and Kim Adams for the Chief Halftime Report. First half stats are sponsored by Chief. There's only one. We were keeping an eye on that rebounding factor, and UConn dominating the rebounds 20-9 here in the first half, getting production. Points in the paint have been huge, and off the bench as well. And with this 33-18 score, it's that second quarter, as we mentioned before we toss it to halftime. It's the second quarter that really has kind of stretched this lead out here for the UConn Huskies.
And they found so many opportunities in the paint, and whether that's through their cuts and finding some of those nice passing lanes, points off turnovers, second chance opportunities, that has been where they've made a lot of damage against Villanova, and Villanova struggling from the three-point line. Got to find a way to get it going.
Backdoor look, that'll help. How about an easy bucket on the first possession, and Segrist gets it.
One thing we did see towards the end of that second quarter is Segrist starting to pick things up, see some shots go through, more touches for her. That is something that Villanova desperately needs.
That second quarter has been a problem, and then Mullen's going to get whistled for the foul. We check in with John Fanta, who had a conversation with Denise Dillon.
Well, Denise Dillon was happy with her team defensively. They were able to force 11 UConn turnovers, but her message to her team is, look, in a big game like this against a marquee opponent, you have to start making shots. So they try to make some adjustments to make the offense come more naturally, as seen there on that first look for Segrist.
Thank you, John. If you're a Villanova fan, don't look at the shooting numbers here in the first half. They're not pretty for the Wildcats. And I was mentioning second quarter on Sunday against Seton Hall, and tonight has been a problem. 7 points Sunday against Seton Hall in that quarter, 8 points here tonight against UConn. Cross-court pass, that's something that UConn worked on the shoot-around, is trying to intercept that.
And there was just too much air time for that pass. Plenty of seconds to tick off for
Edwards takes the bump. You know, we get access and we appreciate it from both programs and both head coaches, but I love when Gino Auriemma was teaching that defensively in terms of reading that cross-court pass or the skip pass here by Villanova. He said, look, you know what they're going to do. Right when they get into the passing motion, you should be there on the catch.
The gap, and that's exactly what Nika Mule did off of that play. And when you're lofting it up like that against the arms, there's the concept too of you need to get it over the top of players like Nelson Adota and Edwards in the middle of the court, and because of that there's plenty of time for Villanova. We said this earlier, but so much of what they have been able to do when they're successful offensively is shifting the defense and finding some of those lanes, and some of that comes through passing, but it's also just the body movement, and we haven't seen quite the same amount of cutting on certain possessions that's allowed UConn to get those stops, and we see the pressure here off the gates of just how tough it's been to move the basketball.
We'll just bring the basketball up here for Villanova. Yeah. Erlahi has some daylight.
That's so important. Villanova struggled from the three-point line in that first half. If they can start to see some of those go through, not only you capitalize on the three-point looks, but it loosens things up and gives you room to operate on the interior.
It's 8 points here for Erlahi, who's been averaging a double-double here in Big East tournament play, with just 2 rebounds here in this game so far. Edwards decides to take it and muscle her way in for 2.
Strong take by Edwards, and Hurley did everything she could to try and stay in front. That's just excellent footwork at the end of the dribble.
Lucy Olsen, the freshman, being defended by the Big East Defensive Player of the Year, Nika Mule. Erlahi with the kick out. Mullen going baseline, and there's those hands and the swarming defense, the white jerseys all around that penetration. Williams with 7 in the first half. There's Mule with the look.
Aaliyah Edwards showing off her skill set. Looked at the catch, and right there, step through. Hurley trying to cut off the avenue to the basket. Instead, Edwards just does a great job using her strength. And she's light on her feet. She's got finesse. For as much as we see how she attacks and pursues the glass and able to score around the basket, she also has a really great agility to her game that allows her to cover space.
Including tonight, she started the last 11 games. You go back to January 30th against Providence. Gino has said you feel like she's practicing better, playing better, and just shows a lot more confidence, as you can see on that play.
And that's a big part of it, and we were talking about this a little first half, the confidence needed in the postseason and just how the pressure. I know Kim Adams talked about the 3 seasons that Kristen Williams tells the team about, and in the postseason that 1 and out adds pressure in that element, and there's some new players that are going to experience it for the first time here for Gino's crew, and so a lot of it comes down from some of these older players, the veteran players that had been through it before.
And they gave a warning there to Aaliyah Edwards and crossing that plane there on the sideline defensively. It'll be UConn basketball.
So whether it's Edwards, we've seen Nelson Adota, Juhas, when you have the size on the ball, you cannot underestimate how challenging it is just to get those inbound passes. And I think that's something you often take for granted, especially the sets from the sideline.
That's 6'3", 6'5", and 6'5". You can take your pick from, and that's 6'3", passing to 6'5".
Saw in the first half a lot of the opposite, where it was Nelson Adota from the top of the key initiating offense and finding her teammates. This time it's Edwards, and there was a comfort level from all of the bigs on UConn to be able to initiate.
And Nova now 4 turnovers in this quarter. Stepped on the sideline, a little high-low look from Edwards, finding her partner Nelson Adota.
And so much of this comes from, too, look at Nelson Adota working and how high she gets Segrist up the lane to allow that entry and give her room to work on the inside.
This time, Nelson Adota finding Edwards, and a 1-dribble pull-up there for AZ Fudd, who was active in the first quarter.
That is such a quick move, and you know how much work she has put into it, but not only the movement of the shot fake, one dribble, but then the release of her shot after it.
Mule whistled for the bump there defensively. Part of a 6-0 run thanks to this last Fudd bucket.
And good work on the inside. That inside out allowed Fudd to then have the catch. Olsen closing out. It is tough to do against a player like Fudd, as I mentioned, with how quick and tight her movements are.
We've talked about it. It must be good for her to see the ball go through the basket. Has not shot well in the tournament coming into tonight. About 23% from the field in the first couple of games. There's a deep triple attempt that time from Garzone, who really has been off the mark, still looking for her first points. And she's 0 for 6 here to start. Hesitation there by Mule, and a foul committed there on Garzone.
And that's another aspect for Villanova. Three-point shots haven't been going down. They haven't gotten to the free throw line. Not generating much offense off their defense, and just having a challenge and really being able to free flow into their sets.
Nova hasn't taken the free throw. UConn hasn't had a whole bunch of opportunities. This will be, what, free throws 7 and 8 coming up as a team. Got some maintenance going on there on the floor. Appreciate all the workers here at Mohegan Sun, and we were here last year when it was an empty gym, Sarah Kustok, and what a difference a year makes.
I mean, it's hard really to think back to that and just how different now, looking at the crowd, the fans, the extraordinary energy that's not only existed here tonight for the finals, but throughout the course of this entire Big East tournament. And these teams, these athletes have put on a show each and every night out, and culminating with this one, but it really has been such a tremendous atmosphere, and a big appreciation for all of those at Mohegan Sun and from the Big East Conference and what they have been able to do.
Absolutely fantastic, as you would anticipate, highly tipping towards the UConn side here in this building. But what I've loved about this tournament, the UConn fans come to watch the UConn game, and then the UConn fans have stayed to watch some of the subsequent tournament games. They love their basketball in Connecticut. Garzone, another triple look, and that's her first points, first bucket. Shooters keep shooting, right?
Well, yeah, and important for her to get going. I think you could say this about a lot of players on Villanova who are shooters. Regardless of how many you're missing, they still believe the next one's going in, and that's the characteristic that you need, especially at this point of the game.
Garzone is their three-point shooter. She's attempted the most. There's a good backdoor look, and Edwards converts. Give the assist, though, to the freshman AZ Fudd.
A beautiful job, and that's where UConn kills you. On those ball screens on the wing, they have so much they could do in their reads off of what the defender does, whether it's a pop, whether it's a slip. And you also need to be concerned with where the ball is at, because you got some potent offensive weapons.
Olsen, nothing there on that take baseline. Westbrook, jab step, not there. One of the seniors playing in her final Big East tournament game for the NCAA tournament comes here for UConn. Maybe possibly Villanova as well. Inside 4 minutes. Garzone, too strong. Chased down that time by Westbrook. Player who has accepted a new role here for UConn, not as a starter, but now coming off the bench for Gino Auriemma. There's that other high-low lick. That time it's Dorka Juhas converting. Edwards with the assist. These pigs love to find each other.
And pick your poison, because they put shooters in the corners that you got to stay attached to, and because of it, they allow for the interior passing to just pick you apart. First AZ to Edwards. Beautiful slip off the screen, finding her big on the inside, and this time it's Juhas UConn rolling here in the third quarter.
and the Fox Sports app. We look at the score by the quarter. It was a tough second quarter, as we have addressed, and Villanova slowly but surely kind of creeping behind as UConn continues to do, right? Against opponents, they just kind of wear you down first defensively, and then they get those easy buckets offensively.
They're systematic about it, and they've been out rebounding Villanova, forcing some tough shots, and more than anything, too, is just the pressure they're applying at this end of the floor, both on the ball and the passing lanes. It's been tough for Villanova to get a lot of clean looks.
By the way, that men's Big East tournament coming up, both of these teams, Villanova with the 2 seed, UConn with the 3 seed, will play Thursday night in those evening games coming up. See the bench points differential, 4 different players have scored for UConn to tally that 16-0 advantage.
I think that continues to just show and showcase the depth of this UConn team now that they're getting healthy.
There's Azzi Fudd. She's a starter, but she took the pass from now the reserve player, Avina Westbrook. And that's one of the issues, if not, you know, just a page of issues that you have to deal with in taking on UConn. Not only do you have to deal with their 5 starters, but a lot of their bench players have starting experience and arguably could be starters.
Yeah, they certainly could. And I think, too, just the confidence that they all play with, the understanding of their roles, and there's a cohesion that we continue to see out of UConn from everyone. But Azzi Fudd in particular has gotten it going here in this one, showcasing off all the skills.
When they play YMCA in the arena, you gotta participate, and Azzi Fudd's parents doing exactly that. Mom and Dad in the house, and certainly happy with her performance here tonight as we check in with Kim Adams.
Thanks, Lisa. Well, we're seeing Azzi Fudd's near picture-perfect shooting form on display here tonight. And I asked her, who did she study growing up, shooting-wise? She kept it in the family. She said her mom, Katie played at NC State and Georgetown, but she also showed love to Dad, Tim. Tim played at American University. She said he would get in the gym with her before school, after school. Azzi would even sneak in at lunchtime, getting hundreds and hundreds of reps per day. But anyone who's looking to become a better jump shooter should be studying the form of this young lady right here, Lisa.
Yeah, she realized that she's got kind of a similar form to Mom. Case in point, look at this form. Mom would be impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing of beauty. Elbow in, perfect rotation. And the thing about Azzi Fudd, despite the fact we talked a little bit about some of her struggle shooting here through the tournament, but it does not change. It's the consistency of the look of the shot, and you know, just a given time that it's going to start going through. Because she has done a tremendous job this year with her accuracy from the field.
All in for 3, it's not there. There's several things I love about Kim's story, but one of the things is that as we celebrate 50 years of Title IX, not only now do we tell the stories of players about their dads being players, but their moms being players consistently.
Yes, yes.
And Title IX, a very big reason for that. Another opportunity here for UConn, single digits again here on the shot clock. Edwards decides to take it herself. That was a good decision.
There's been such balance in how UConn is scoring, but it's those hustle plays, the save from Fudd, keeping balls alive, 50-50 opportunities. Those are the type of things that UConn, especially through the course of this third quarter, has taken advantage of.
And Maddie Segrist has only taken 1 shot here for Villanova. She was flashing across the lane. They didn't give it to her. Now with 1 minute to play here in the quarter. Segrist, the player of the year in the Big East with 11 points, 50% shooting here so far. It'll be Herlihy, didn't beat the buzzer. It's a shot clock violation. Oh, we're gonna play on. Heard the buzzer go, but they let them play on. Edwards, the handoff. Westbrook, clean look. Caitlin Oriole bringing it up. Fudd defending. Final few seconds here of the quarter. What can Villanova do with it? Segrist gives it up. radar zone. It's not there. That's the final shot of the quarter. And UConn, Syracuse closed the quarter on a 15-3 run.
Doing it on both ends of the floor. That possession, they get it out of Siegrist's hands. And yeah, you see the leadership, the direction, everything is starting to click here for UConn, and we can feel it. A Big East championship on the line with one more quarter to go. UConn, 23-point lead.
The one bucket in the first half, and again dealing with the surgery on her left knee, and since her return from injury, the minutes I think is what you want to look at, and how they're kind of trying to manage that. Gino has said he doesn't want to surpass 20 minutes here so far.
Yeah, and I think tonight maybe a little bit different, just considering the fact that it's not just about the games played, but it's the third game in 3 days, and so how that continued response and wear on Paige is something that you keep in mind. Big picture-wise is you realize after this you got about 10 days before the NCAA tournament start. You want her to feel at her freshest and at her best.
10 days where Gino Auriemma has talked to us about trying to figure out this rotation now that his team is getting healthier, and Beckers gets fouled that time by Siegrist. That'll be her second.
A balance, though, for her in how you feel physically and the confidence you have in it mentally, but also just get some rust off, get your legs back, get your conditioning back, and that's where there's a little bit of give and take of getting the flow back to your game, but also making sure that you feel good while you're doing it.
They got another foul there on Beckers. It's a tight coverage on her in the last few seconds. That time it's Lucy Olsen. Paige Beckers, last year National Player of the Year. Trying to get back into that playing form. It was going to take a lot for her not to try to play at least a few minutes here in this championship game for her team. And that one time it will be a shooting foul. So she'll have a couple here coming up. Siegrist gets her again. That's number 3. Oh, they're not going to call it a shooting.
I think she was trying to get it into Juhas off that play. She was showing off some
I'm trying to get her. I'm trying the best I can to get her to the foul line after getting 3 fouls here on this one possession.
You see the gravity she has on the floor?
Now she'll pick up an assist instead. Ducharme knocks it down from the corner. Villanova just the 26 points, and there's the 13th point for the Player of the Year this year, Maddie Siegrist.
Making Maddie Siegrist work for every one of her baskets, and when it comes to Ducharme, hitting from the corner, she was such a major part of when Paige Beckers was out, how she stepped up for this team, her ability to produce on the offensive side. A lot of growth from her.
Siegrist picks up the foul there on that attempt. Edwards picks it up. How dominating has this UConn defense been here in this tournament? I mean, 5 quarters, they have held opponents to fewer than 10 points.
That's just incredible. And to think about the fact that Villanova is a team that averages close to 67 points per game. And you got 9 minutes left, and they're at 28 points. 29.
Those were the free throws, first free throws, I should say, by Nova as a team. Let alone Siegrist, who's at 14 points here in this game. About half of the Villanova total. Beckers gets a look. This building wanted that one to drop. The popularity of Paige Beckers is off the charts. And just watching this tournament, Saturday alone, UConn was done playing, and she had a line of fans going up the stands trying to get a picture, an autograph, or just a wave and a hello if they could get one. On the transition, Olsen gets a look, and that's a 3-pointer that falls down.
Starting with the defensive side, and good push by Maddie Siegrist. She was well aware as well of where Beckers was coming from behind, the trailer, her ability to suck in the defense and find an opening.
Juhas battling for it on the offensive boards, and the foul is called.
For as much, though, as we're talking about what UConn has done defensively against Villanova, Villanova has not been able to make a lot of shots. They've been struggling offensively, but give them credit for their defense against UConn, a team that averages over 75 points per game and has a lot of potent weapons on this end of the floor to only be at 52 right now. Says something about what the Wildcats have done defensively.
An offensive foul call that time on Edwards. That'll be her third. You saw Paige Beckers getting subbed out. Got a good, minutes worth of time at the beginning here of this fourth quarter.
And you imagine if the score stays, if the lead stays at around this place, I'm not sure she will re-enter the game.
Been an incredible season here for UConn and arguably unprecedented in the amount of players who have been injured or affected by COVID absences. Williams with the 7 points finds Uhas. Oh, wow, undercut. Edwards going for it. And it's the tinier Lucy Olsen who found herself right underneath her. No, it was Mullen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I think Mullen's still trying to box her out. Let's take a look at this from behind. And yeah, a jump just landed on the back. A scary play here for both individuals. Ooh.
Still working on Mullen there on the bench. Points now for Edwards. Nearly has doubled up her average almost. Which is about 8 points per game. Segrist over to Herlihy. 8 to shoot. 6 to shoot. 4 to shoot. Segrist turns and fires. Gets her own miss, and the putback is good.
Gino Auriemma was talking about what makes Maddie Segrist so good, and one, he pointed to the competitiveness, but she just works so hard on every possession, and you see it there. It's examples of that. An excellent job by UConn of every individual staying in front of their man. Kristen Williams trying to work Segrist on the inside before some miss, and Segrist still is able to come up with it.
Now 5 on the shot clock. Ducharme taking it. 3 UConn defenders getting back here and a possible transition opportunity that could end in the Segrist 3-point shot. Westbrook taking it all the way. Someone forgot about her.
Garzone let her go a little bit, and Segrist is still worried about Edwards for that drop pass and just left an open lane to the basket.
And Edwards this time defensively, stepping into the passing lane. Segrist chasing back with the UConn basketball, and Segrist coming over to try to help up Edwards.
Nice track back by Segrist. Great shooting the gap by Aaliyah Edwards and getting the steal to begin with as she works to get ahead. But watch Segrist coming from behind to track it down. All ball on the play.
Edwards, and it's Westbrook who turns the corner. She's got a couple of layups in the last few possessions.
A little smirk on her face. First blows by Garzone, this time around Olsen. She has been aggressive in those straight line drives, getting to the basket, and UConn continuing to pile it on here as they're starting to taste what's at the end of this one.
Lavina Westbrook, one of those seniors who embracing the fact that she's playing in her final Big East tournament game. 5 minutes away and some change from a championship. UConn chasing number 20 in the Big East. East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. It's the Big East Tournament Championship between the #1 seed and the #2 seed, UConn and Villanova. Sarah Kusta, Lisa Bynes, and John Fanta, Kim Adams with you. And this is the story here for Villanova. Is this a good enough resume? Punch its ticket into the NCAA tournament this year.
Well, and also consider that fact in the middle there. You won 20 of the last 22 games. You've got wins over UConn, Creighton, Oregon State. Looks a little different with the way things finished with Creighton and DePaul. But there are a lot of factors to consider, and especially how they've been playing with Maddie Siegrist since she's come back, and the health of the team. So much should be taken into account when it comes to those things.
Let's work in John Fanta about Maddie Siegrist.
Well, you think about Villanova and Maddie Siegrist, and this is a team that is 20-4 when she's on the floor versus 3-3 without her. You've won 20 of your last 22 games. You own wins over Creighton and DePaul and a road win at Connecticut. And the argument from the national person might be, well, UConn was shorthanded in that game. But the fact is, this is what UConn's been for most of the season, a shorthanded team that's used 10 different starting lineups. The Cats, in this humble opinion, deserve to hear their name called on Selection Sunday.
Agreed, and even when you look at some of those losses, a lot of it you could attribute to some of the compression of the schedule, how it lined up, what the team was coming off of. So it's going to be interesting to see how the selection committee looks at it. But Fanta, your humble opinion, and I think all of ours, we agree.
Get into the championship game, and it's the #2 seed here this year. Denise Dillon had said last year when Villanova was in the WNIT, that's not going to be our ceiling. We got to reset, and we got to set our goals and really kind of prepare like UConn day in and day out. There's the take. Kind of looking well found by Kristen Williams. She'll take it.
Well, interesting, too, even Kristen Williams, and we asked her about that loss to Villanova and what it meant, how she felt with it. She said, I'm not going to lie, it hurt. I have never lost a conference game, which, again, puts in perspective the dominance of UConn, but it talked about how they took it to heart, watched the film, and they've obviously come out with an excellent game plan and a high amount of execution here in this one.
Bella Runyon makes down the three-point shot. By the way, Dad, John Runyon, a football player in attendance here tonight. Let's check in with Kim Adams.
Well, you guys talking Kristen Williams, we had a great moment at shoot-around today. UConn was just running through some offense. Gino had been pretty laid back, and then all of a sudden he got loud and started asking Kristen Williams how many times in a row was she going to make the same cut. So sure enough, next time through, Kristen Williams makes a different cut, comes to the other side of the floor and bangs a three. And that's when you just realize this guy knows what he's talking about. We asked her about the relationship with Gino. She said freshman year I was stubborn. He said I was uncoachable. I didn't agree with it. But now she knows this is why I play for this guy.
Thank you, Kim. Wow, UConn is rolling. The traveling call that time on Edwards. Erlahi checking out. And one of the players here for Villanova who's hoping that she could get to the NCAA tournament in her 6th year. She decided to come back. Nice applause when she exited the game. Really, we've talked about she averaged a double-double in her final Big East tournament. Obviously, her older sister Bridget, a nice relationship that she has with her. FaceTime each other, talk to each other all the time, and a shout out to her who is watching from Luxembourg, where I'm told. It's like 2 to 4 a.m. over there.
Yeah, well, and you know what, credit, I mean, Bridget, now Brianna, but how much they have meant to this Villanova program. You think about where it's at and the players and individuals who continue to help maintain and lay the foundation for what it is. And obviously dates way back, but those two are such important pieces. And for Villanova to get to this championship game, and she talked about it, just the excitement of it, having never been. She has had a tremendous tournament and brings so much guts to this team. We had a chance to talk with Denise Dillon earlier before the tournament. She pointed to Brianna, saying she's a player that she shows up to practice every single day as a six-year player like it's her first practice of college, and that says a lot about just setting the tone for a group.
Siegrist going at Edwards to Garzone. Another rebound for Edwards, make it 6 in the game to go with her 12 points. Inside 2 minutes left to play. Ducharme will check in. Edwards checks out to a nice hand.
It to where they need to get it to go in the paint. They have been so dominant in how they find their buckets on the inside, and through passes, through penetration, a lot of cutting actions, some second chance opportunities, but it's been a tremendous amount of balance from UConn. I mean, think about the fact that the highest scorer is Aaliyah Edwards with just 12 points.
There's another senior exiting. One by one, Gino giving his starters and his seniors the stage that they deserve. Oriole with her first points.
Not sure what happened there. The discard of Oriole that left Westbrook wide open underneath the basket, but high-low passing, regardless of big, smalls, whoever it is something that UConn has been deadly with tonight.
Another takeaway, another turnover. 30-point advantage in the final few seconds of the Big East Championship, and the crowd to its feet.
Starting to see some smiles from these UConn players.
Before the celebration begins. They can't wait to start. In a season of challenges, UConn keeps its championship form. Connecticut with its 20th Big East Tournament championship. getting back to championship form and a healthy-looking Connecticut team as now we turn the page to the NCAA tournament.
And that's what it's all about for UConn, putting up banners, and this team is motivated to try and make that happen. You can see the excitement, the enthusiasm. We talked about it so much, trying to get whole, get healthy. There has been so many different challenges this group has faced throughout the course of the season, and you imagine they are just expecting that resiliency to pay off in the end. But big discrepancy in the score here with a 30-point win for UConn. But give credit to Villanova, the fight they showed, what they were able to try and put together throughout the course of this game and getting themselves to the Big East championship game. Overall, tremendous showing, and once again, this crowd was electric. The families here able to support their loved ones, and it is a special tournament at Mohegan Sun, now welcoming back fans for this season.
Balanced scoring here with UConn here tonight, including 12 points from Aaliyah Edwards, who's standing by with Kim Adams.
Thank you, Lisa. Aaliyah, the hat is looking good. Congratulations. Let's just talk about you individually first. You looked really confident and dominant out there at times. What was your mentality heading into this championship game?
I knew that my teammates needed me, and Coach expects a lot from me, so I wanted to come big for this Big East tournament and show out because we're not done yet. It's only the foundation that we're building right now.
And it was really balanced scoring for your group tonight. When that happens, why does that make your team so dangerous?
It's great because it shows that even first five that's on the court, the next five coming in is going to be as lethal as the first group. So we have a big bench and a lot of talent on this team, and it really showed tonight.
2 seasons for you, 2 Big East championships. What does this moment feel like?
Back-to-back champs. We got one more coming. That's all I got to say.
I saw you making a TikTok yesterday. I know there's going to be some good ones tonight.
Yes, there's definitely going to be some great ones to that chip, for sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Aaliyah.
Thank you.
We'll send it back to Lisa.
All right, Kim, isn't that what 2022 is all about? Celebrate on TikTok, baby. 30-point win here for UConn. We have plenty more of post-game coverage to give you, including showing you the trophy ceremony and celebration for UConn. They once again are the Big East tournament champs. We have more to come from Mohegan Sun after this.
For the 20th time, the UConn Huskies are Big East women's basketball tournament champions. The Huskies rolling past Villanova 70-40 behind a balanced scoring performance and a dominant defensive output. UConn winning the Big East championship. Let's send it over to the stage. Center court, it's Lisa Byington.
Mohegan Sun, it is so good to have fans back in the building for a championship. You guys have been wonderful all weekend. Welcome to the trophy ceremony for the Big East tournament. And I bring in Val Ackerman, the commissioner of the Big East, to present the 2022 Big East tournament trophy.
Thank you so much, Lisa. First, I want to commend our runner-up, the Villanova Wildcats, and all of our teams on a hard-fought season and a great tournament. I want to thank the fans. Thank you so much for supporting our women and for helping us celebrate 50 years of Title IX. And now it's my great pleasure to present the 2022 Big East Women's Basketball Championship Trophy to our champions, Coach Gino Auriemma, these amazing women, your staff, and the UConn Huskies. Congratulations, it's your 20th Big East crown.
work my way here and find this head coach. This team has gotten used to taking these championship shots, some of them here in this roster. How about that? There you go. It's official. Well, Gino, you have said at times that the challenges here for this team a little bit unprecedented with the injuries, some of the COVID absences. There maybe was a question, could they get to the podium once again? How did you guys navigate through some of the ups and downs of this season?
Well, a couple of the MVPs on our team were, Janelle, our athletic trainer, and our medical staff, trying to keep everybody together, in one piece. We never lost, we never lost sight of who we are and what we're trying to do. And some days it was really bleak. You go to practice and you have 5 able bodies that, you can't even go up and down the floor. But we never lost sight of, hey, as long as 5 players show up, we have a chance. And when these guys come back, we start to get whole again. And little by little, we just kept getting better, and that's the thing that I respect the most about this particular group, is that we just kept getting better. We kept getting better, and we kept getting better, and they became very unselfish. Not that they weren't before, but they became very unselfish about playing time, about who was starting, who wasn't, who was getting all these minutes, who wasn't. Because when you go from playing 30 minutes and then all of a sudden you're playing 20 or 15, you can react one of 2 ways, and every one of these guys reacted like the champions that they are. So I'm really proud of them.
You mentioned the adjustments to different roles, and some of those were actually seniors, right? That had to adjust to different roles and playing in their last Big East tournament championship. What can you say about that class as we turn the page now to the NCAA tournament?
By the time you get to be a senior, it seems like it was yesterday that you were a freshman and you thought you had forever, and now you realize you have 3 weeks, and in those 3 weeks you can make a legacy for yourself in 3 weeks. So regardless of what's happened the previous 3.5 years that you've been here, you really have a 3-week period when you can become famous. So I think all 3 of them would love this to end the right way, and I would love nothing better than to help them do that.
All right. Well said, Coach. Thank you. Time now. There were several great player performances, a very balanced offensive attack. You have to make one decision on an MOP, a most outstanding player, and we bring in, again, the Commissioner, Val Ackerman, to present that trophy.
Great leadership, great performance. Kristen Williams, come get your most outstanding player trophy.
You're obviously very well liked. They're calling for a speech, so that means you got to do an interview. You got no choice. You talked to us earlier today after shoot-around. You were trying to put in perspective your career, this being your last conference championship, projecting to the NCAA tournament. You got this team many, many times in this tournament off to the right start. What was your mentality in your final conference tournament?
Just to be aggressive on the offensive end and the defensive end. And you know what? This one is my favorite one, this championship, because of let me tell you why this one is my favorite. This team, man, we've been through so much this year, and we fought through everything, and I'm just super proud of y'all. I'm just super proud of y'all.
Kristen, how did you guys fight through everything this year? How did you fight through everything this year?
we just stuck together. We never gave up, and we just will continue to fight.
Project into the NCAA tournament as you guys are getting healthier. Why is this team a national championship caliber type of team this year?
I guess y'all will have to find out.
We found out here in the conference tournament. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you to UConn. Again, thank you to the fans. 2022 Big East Tournament champs, the UConn Huskies.
We will have much more to come here from Mohegan Sun with the Big East champions, the UConn Huskies, completing another rung on the ladder of their 2022 campaign.